everybody, to week 1 of season 3 in the Reddit League. I am Zatomo, and I'm joined by my co-host Calamity. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to this matchup we have today, Calamity here. We have Kevin Kroner, who was at the lower end of the table last season, managed to stay up, avoided relegation, and we have a newcomer, someone who's qualified in Boksa. He was the top of qualifying, so the only new player into Division 1. So definitely it'll be interesting to see how he does against a worthy opponent, for sure.
He's not the only newcomer to Division 1, just saying.
Oh, who else did I forget?
Orpheus and
there's 3 of them. That's right. It's Division 2 that only has one new one. I got them switched around. There's actually 3 of them. Yeah. So, one of them we get to see anyways, and the best of the newcomers we get to see here in week 1. The stats, obviously, week 1, we don't have any stats for them. So Kevin Kroner's stats is from last season. He averaged just under 21,000 points, did have a best game in his home country, Sweden, and got 13 aces across the season. Boksa, the stats for him there are his qualifying stats. He averaged just under 24,000 and didn't get a perfect game in qualifying, but he didn't have a home country advantage to do that in. So, and aces were not tracked, so we don't have anything for that for him. So, any initial thoughts going into this matchup, Calamity?
Yeah, I remember that I think I said something about Kevin Kroner getting lucky to stay up in the division in one of the shows last year. I don't quite remember why. I think it had something to do maybe with a yellow card or something like that. But I think he's definitely not the favorites in this matchup. Boksa getting the highest score in the preseason, I think by a bit of a distance as well. He's been playing a lot of non-moving games in different sort of leagues, and he's always like right at the top. So I'm definitely expecting him, despite being a newcomer, to be right up there in the division and fight for the playoffs. As I've said in the week 1 or even the preview show, I think Kevin might be out of luck this season unless he really puts in a lot of time and effort to practice all of the maps and somehow gets a couple of lucky wins, perhaps, then he can stay up. But I think otherwise it's going to be a very, very hard task for him to manage to stay in Division 1.
Yeah, with 3 newcomers who are all very good. We've seen them in other competitions, that being their first season in Reddit League. It's going to be hard for anybody who managed to stay up last season, because these competitors are going to definitely work their way in and hope to be at least mid-table. I think I could safely say that all the newcomers are probably not the favorites for relegation. Yep. So, definitely going to be a tricky season. So let's see how it goes for Kevin Kroner and Boksa in week 1. Our map is Uruguay. Average score of just under 15,000 points with 1,000 locations. It's been played over 1,000 times. Many of those thanks to Reddit League. Lots of people practicing. Put it over that 1,000 mark. And a pretty straightforward map. It's a map of Uruguay. Plenty of locations across the beautiful country. So, with that, let us just switch right in here to round number 1. And we start off in a urban environment, and given how nice it is, probably the capital, Calamity.
Yeah. Oh, the Chimborazo. That's actually interesting. Because the thing is, I'm never really sure, since this is the second game we commentate on Division 1, I'm never really sure how much I should repeat. But that's something I actually didn't notice before, that Chimborazo on that building is actually the street name that we're on. Which I didn't notice while we were commentating the other match, and I didn't notice it while I was playing myself. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, Boksa's checking out a few signs on a bus stop. We'll switch back over to Kevin Kroner, see how he's seen back to a major intersection with maybe some street names he's able to pick off here. He just jumps right past them, it looks like it.
Yeah.
But he is on a major road, so he's probably looking for a sign of some kind to give him a clue as to exactly where he might be. But hasn't seemed to see any of them quite yet. There's that road sign you're talking about. Boksa now sees it. GRL Flores, I think, is a major road through Montevideo, so that would be a good tip for him if he practiced.
It's Boksa. You said Boksa again.
Boksa. Sorry, I got to get used to the new names. So.
Yeah, the Boksa zoomed in onto the map, but he doesn't really seem to want to search for a street yet. No, now he does.
No, he seems to be willing to do it. And Kevin Kroner is doing the same as well. He is on the GRL Flores as well, and he has found the road.
Mm-hmm.
And he will jump back to the start to confirm. Boksa has yet to find it. He does seem to have the crossroad, but he's still looking for the actual road we started on.
Mm.
And with about 30 seconds left, actually, Boksa, who's a little bit behind here. Yeah, Kevin Kroner, though, is zooming in on it there.
Boksa went right past it. You could see it on the screen.
And with 30 seconds, Kevin Kroner seems to be at the intersection, so we should expect an ace from him here. And Boksa still not quite got the intersection yet.
There it was again.
Yeah. You hate when that happens, right? It's just some days you just don't see anything.
Yeah.
Right? So let's switch back over to him and see if he can't find it with only a few seconds left.
It is.
He got it. Ooh. Last second. Very nice. Actually, he gets the ace, which is a bit interesting. I think, did Kevin Kroner just move last second? Or
unfortunately, wasn't paying attention to his screen.
I was more worried about if Boksa was going to actually find it or not, and not whether or not he actually had it. But I think he might have made a last-second adjustment. Unfortunate for him, only getting 4,986 points, down 14, with Boksa getting that perfect ace in round one. He must have remembered that cross street from the spawn location.
And, either that or he got lucky, because I'm not even sure he could see the side streets at the zoom level he was at.
Yeah. Let me actually go back a few seconds here and see
He's
Kevin Kroner.
At the wrong one here.
Yeah, No, I think he was just at the wrong one the entire time. I think because he did see a bus stop, he thought that was it, but not quite. So yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting. Boksa, let us know. A bit of spot of luck there for him, perhaps, there in round one. So, well, let's move on to round number 2 then. Got to get used to casting these videos again. Got to get my timers lined up. While I'm talking, not after I'm talking, and make everybody wait.
Yeah, it's only good if you stall for time if you're actually doing something in between that.
Yeah. I just get caught up in what I'm saying. There we go. So we'll jump into round number 2 here, and a wide open road. Kevin Kroner immediately heading east, not even slowing down, and he will catch a very, very good sign there at the beginning. Boksa also getting a very nice sign with a road number on it. National Road 27.
Kevin Kroner was moving there at record speeds.
Yeah, I think it took like Raidman like a full minute or something to see that sign. But he got it within like 10 seconds. So, and he'll focus on that as he starts skimming the map. Boksa finding that road in the northern part of the country, and he will move for some more information as well. With Kevin Kroner now just sitting there trying to find these city names. He seems to be looking in the wrong part of the country too.
Yeah, this is for me, this is a telltale sign that he hasn't practiced Uruguay.
Riviera, a pretty big city.
The issue with a few countries on Google Maps, Uruguay being one of them, is if he's actually found a different one of the smaller cities, so that's good for him. But the issue with Uruguay is that most of the border cities, such as Rivera, but also Salto, and I'm not sure about Paisano right now, but maybe that as well, don't show up until you zoom far in, because it zoomed out, it shows the city on the other side of the border.
Yeah, that can be tricky. Border cities can be covered up by their foreign neighbors. Boksa here moving to that same sign that Kevin Kroner has seen, and he will use that to help pinpoint a little bit better than where he is right now. And Kevin Kroner jumping back to the starting location is going to look for a bridge that doesn't exist on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a good test of his pinpointing skills using curves in the road and directions.
Boksa seems to be having the same problem that I always have. I had in Uruguay as well, which is the sign says 113 kilometers. How far is that on the map? I don't really know. So he kind of started very close to Rivera and then sort of worked his way down the road until he found the other cities.
Yeah, and then once you can get a scale, I think it's really beneficial, because if you might not know how far is 150 kilometers, but once you establish, I know between these two cities at this zoom level it's 150, then you can start to use a bit of numbers. And Kevin Kroner will guess a little bit ahead of time. For him, 4,991, so he did find the right road, but just misses out on the ace again. And Boksa will also miss out on the ace, actually. 1 point dropped from him, 4,999. So it proved a bit tricky for Raidman and Radu, and it proved the same for these two as well, Calamity, to pinpoint.
50 meters is always painful to see, because 1 meter closer would have been the perfect score. And at this point, especially with Reddit League giving out a bonus point for perfect scores, this point Boksa was still going for that. So probably not something he enjoys seeing there. But at the same time, Uruguay is really difficult to get a perfect score anyway, with 3 rounds to go. Probably not too big of an issue. But yeah, it's as I've said in the other video, it's really hard to pinpoint empty roads, especially going back to that and then not really knowing how far distances are on the map, because you might have sort of a reference point of, say, I know between these 2 points is 100 kilometers, but you probably don't have a reference point where you can say, okay, between these 2 places, that's exactly 100 meters or something like that. And if you do, it's probably not going to be useful, because you'd have to scroll the whole map to get to where you're actually at. So yeah, always difficult.
Yeah. Yep, but I mean, it's impressive for somebody like me to watch them, because I don't even know if I could even gotten that close in pinpoint. I probably would have found the road. I probably could have been within maybe, I don't know, a couple kilometers, but I mean, these guys were still within a few meters, so less than a kilometer. So that's still very impressive, despite how difficult it is. So well, let's jump into round number 3. Here with Kevin Kroner to start us off. He's sitting at 9,977 points. Boksa is at 999.
I like how,
so 22 points.
I like how Kevin Kroner did pretty much the exact same thing that I think Radu did. I'm not exactly sure anymore. And that he walked forward a few steps and looked at something, then turned around and walked back. But he's now since then turned around again, and he's walking north again in the same direction that Boksa is currently headed.
Yeah, they are headed in the same direction. Yet to see anything significant. Boksa will stop to look at a bus, but nothing there worth mentioning. Kevin Kroner also checking out a truck, not giving him much.
Yeah, I wonder if there is any particular reason, if they have something in mind when they're looking at vehicles, because I didn't really notice anything on vehicles that would have helped me in Uruguay at all. Usually with such small countries, if there's a bus that might travel from Montevideo to Rivera, then that's not going to help you.
Yeah. Boksa does find a sign with the road number on it and a small river name. You might be able to find that. Kevin Croner is spending time looking at that bus that Boksa passed. Didn't see anything on it as well. He'll continue his movement south while Boksa tries to figure out where he might be, given that he now knows the road number. So
yeah, he was slightly frustrated with Geoguessr loading slowly there.
There you go. Kevin Croner will see that same sign. So now they have equal information at least. Boksa did see that nature preserve sign, so maybe he does have a little bit of a leg up on Kevin Croner there.
It's just a question of whether he knows exactly that is a sign that is referring to a nature park. Because if he thinks it's a small city or something like that, or just a town somewhere, then he might not look for it in the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kevin Croner also seeing those same signs for the turnoffs for this nature park. And we'll see if he starts to look for it as well. And we appear with only 30 seconds left to be in the map scrolling portion of the round. Where they will focus on just trying to get as close as they can. With only 20 seconds, neither of them seems to be pretty close at all, which is a bit worrying.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly they're looking for, but
yeah, Boksa seems to be based enough. He is close to some river, and that will be good enough for him. But unfortunately for Kevin Croner, only 2,131 points. The right road, but way too far south. We'll pop over and take a look at the score for Boksa here, 4,892. So he was a bit of a ways off, but a whole lot closer from him there. So I don't really know what Kevin Croner was doing so far south or why Boksa was so far north. They didn't really have too many clues, Calamity.
Yeah, I didn't see either of them finding anything particularly useful apart from, road number 8 and the nature reserve, but neither of them found the nature reserve, I'm pretty sure. So it'd be interesting to know. I'll actually have to look at that probably. I'll take a look at that right now. Because I don't think the name that it said on the river was the same as the name of the river on the map. But no, it wasn't. But despite that, I think Boksa still kind of assumed it was the right river. And it'd be nice if you could tell us in the comments what exactly made him decide that that's the right river.
Maybe just the directionality of the road seemed to match the way it crossed the road and whatnot. Just said, okay, it's, the shape is generally like this. It fits and whatnot. And Kevin Croner not being able to get that far in his process.
Just looking at the map, and there are actually a couple of POIs just south of that river that it didn't look like Boksa, consciously looked at, but he might have looked at them and just not had his mouse there, so it's obviously hard to tell. But they do mention, first off, the there's two POIs there. Both have sort of that shopping symbol. One of them says the name of the nature park. One of them says the name of the river that you've got on those signs. So he might well have just seen those and figured, okay, probably has to be here then.
Yeah. Well, definitely let us know in the comments below, Boksa. You got quite a few things to explain to us as we jump into round number 4 here for them. And we're starting off on a bridge over a pretty big river. So this one should be on the map, Calamity.
Yeah, this one probably is on the map.
And Boksa will see the good sign. Yeah, if he looks at the right sign somewhere. There we go. Kevin Croner also seeing the exact same sign, as well as a few others up the road with some city names. There we go. Montevideo, 249 kilometers away. So that's something. Yep. There's Florida. There we go.
Yep. There's not too...
I didn't notice that before.
probably because you didn't see the sign before. Probably no. There's not too many big rivers in Uruguay. It's got a huge amount of small rivers, but there's only like probably 3 or 4 that could be this big.
And sure enough, it takes no time at all. Boksa taking only about a minute to find it. He will miss out on an ace by a single point. 4,999 from him there. But again, major river, major bridge, pretty easy to find with the road number and whatnot. Kevin Kroner, on the other hand, seems to... No, he did put his marker in the right place. He's double checking himself to make sure he doesn't lose any more points in this round.
Trying to
no
see,
harm in being thorough.
Yeah, trying to see exactly how far away from either end of the bridge he is.
Yeah. That can even be a bit tricky to measure because where land begins on the map might not be exactly where you think it begins in real life. So, but he'll do the same as Boksa. He will lose on 1 point. 4,999 from him. He's actually a meter further away than Boksa.
I think he was actually like almost right on top of where the actual location was before he moved away.
Yeah, those last minute adjustments, not always your best friend. So, but again, we saw in the last video as well for Division 1, a very easy seed, Calamity.
Yeah, definitely. And that round in particular was a very easy round and a very easy seed.
Yeah, okay. Well, then let us jump right over to round number 5 to finish off. And again, we have a very nice dirt road, but a beautiful hand-painted sign to tell us some city names. And if Kevin can remember Florida from round 4, you should at least know the area. Boksa, though,
there we go. Someone finally looks at it.
Yeah, looks at the back of the sign. Let's see if he gives us to that again. Where do you see the road number, the RN45?
Yeah, it actually only says R45, not RN45, but still.
Oh, I thought it said both. He's going to turn around and show RH45. Well, no, that's a 4. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
he
the 4.
He was moving fast, so it looked like there was 2 things there. But he does see it. Kevin Kroner heading off. Chase looking for some more signs to help him figure out what intersection he might be on. Boksa looking at the map, so we'll jump from him, see if Kevin Kroner can spot anything on his adventure.
In the meantime, Boksa is just probably trying to look at intersections that could match the particular one that he sees right now in his game. But it'll probably take him a while.
Yeah, he's taking just looking at the map approach.
Yeah.
Kevin Kroner trying to find some more information. And Moth spending plenty of time on the map. Yeah, Boksa putting in some good work, checking every possible intersection, orientation using that compass.
Boksa's right now, he was looking at the same intersection I was thinking of when I was in the round, which looks very similar.
I think he's got it now.
Yep.
So he should be able to get an ace here once he narrows down that exact starting location. And sure enough, he will get the ace of 5,000 points. So a very good finish from him in his first game. And it should be enough to win because he didn't drop any points. So it's mathematically impossible for Kevin Kroner to catch up in this last one. He doesn't seem to be too confident as we switch back over to him with 30 seconds left on where he might be along the road.
Yeah, this is one of those locations where obviously it's hard to tell while you're playing it, but you really don't want to move much. You're just not going to find it. Oh, there's at 45 again in white on the signpost.
Yeah, it's another 45, yeah.
But yeah, you're just not going to find much in any direction here.
I think another example of not practicing, right? Flores, Florida, pretty major cities. You can spot them easily. They stand out in practice. And, he'll click way away from it at the last second and only get himself 198 points. not the way he wanted to finish, but the loss was already in the bag, so it'll only really hurt his score differential, Calamity.
Yeah, and as well, even if he had gotten a 5k there, he would not have scored enough points to get a bonus point in the loss. So it doesn't really matter too much for him. Obviously, having a highly negative score differential is never helpful, but yeah, he'll kick himself later on in the season if it comes into play, but I don't think it's much of a big deal.
Yeah. Well, Boksa starting off strong, taking on all challengers. This is his first challenger, and proving up to the task, totaling 24,890 points for him, only 17,305 for Kevin Kroner. So, yeah, congrats, Boksa, on your first win in your first game. Well, thank you all for watching. Keep sending us the videos. We really rely on all of you, the players, to send us these videos so we can cast them and show off your skill to the community. So we look forward to seeing those, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.